Well, welcome back to the channel. I've got a brand new mandolin, which I'm delighted with. This is an Eastman 815. I picked it up at Maloney Instruments in Galway City. Anyone that has come to Galway on their holidays has gone to Maloney's. Fantastic collection of guitars and mandolins and all sorts of wonderful stuff. So I'm getting used to this, but I'm really liking it. So I'm going to teach a tune today called Old John. It's a jig in the key of A minor. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this one. This entire series of lessons will be available, as always, on irishbanjolessons.com. Huge community building up there. 9-hour banjo course, and I think now there's like 150 different tune lessons, topping 1,500 videos, something crazy like that. So we're going to look at triplets on the mandolin. Now, they're done exactly the same way as the banjo, so if you're a banjo player, these techniques translate over. Slight differences with the weight of the pick that we use on mandolin, but the general picking patterns still apply. And the secret is, a triplet is down, up, down, and the note after it is down. That's true for 99.9% of the cases. As you become really proficient at triplets, you'll be able to change it up as you need to, but we're not going to get into that level of detail in this video. So let's learn the simple tune. Here's Old John. So even on a mandolin where the stretch isn't great, my pinky still isn't fantastic for that high B. So I do a little switcheroo, but it's not a big deal. Now, picking wise for jigs, what I recommend starting with is down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. If you set it as that as a default, then you can switch it up to down, up, down, up, down, up. Generally speaking, you're going to want to do the first beat of each measure on a down. The rest of the bar is kind of up for grabs. But down on the down is always going to set you on a good jig rhythm. So triplets on a mandolin. A triplet is no big deal. It's 3 notes played in the space of 2. Now there's a phenomenal amount of argument about whether it's really 2 tiny little notes with a tiny little dotted note after it or something like that. The spirit of the triplet is 3 in the space of 2. That leaves you with the leeway and the flexibility to make them sound Irish or right. If you were to really prescribe exactly how everything is written in Irish music, you're going to lose the soul of the music. You're going to lose the flow and the swing. So that's why writing a triplet as 3 in the space of 2 works best, because it's the suggestion of what it should sound like. Triplets fill space. Sometimes they become compact, sometimes they're extended, and that is one of the ways that we try to build swing and bounce in our playing. So the basic concepts of triplets in this tune are going to sound something like this. So that's a pretty involved version, even though it's slow. And what I mean by that is that there's a number of different types of triplets that are being played. All of them are going to be down, up, down on the right hand, But there are clean single note triplets that sound like this. There's a stuttered or dampened triplet where we're going to kill the first two notes of the triplet. And that sounds like this. They have their own use. A lot of those is going to sound very busy, but combining both is what's going to make it most interesting to listen to. Now, the other type of triplet, I describe it as a moving or three-note triplet. What I've talked about so far are kind of single notes, so one note played three times. But there's great benefit to playing three-note triplets. These are the ones that move, and these help to round off the corners of tune so you don't get stuck in a very metronomic kind of rhythm. So the second half. So you're kind of rolling into the corners of the tunes as opposed to hitting them straight on. Now, were you to play the tune with just crisp single note triplets, to my ear that kind of lends itself to punching out a very strong jig rhythm. And I'm going to overemphasize it now for effect, just so you understand what I'm talking about. So it's very punchy, very clear, very crisp triplets. I find that there's a more lyrical flavor to the moving triplets. Now, I'm aware that I'm playing the tune differently both times, and people sometimes point these out in the comments. But Enda, you're not adding in the rhythmical emphasis when you do that. And that's kind of my point, is that when my focus is on creating more lyricism through the tune, I'm more inclined to steer away from those very strong metronomic or machine gun type triplets. Now, variety is the spice of life. So I will do 8 bars where it's very crisp, followed by 8 bars where it's very lyrical. And that's what creates the interest in the tunes. We're continually trying to vary the way that we play it over the course of 2 or 3 rounds of the tune. Here's an example of that. I'm going to play the tune once through and with a little bit more pace, and I'm going to try and vary a lot of the ways that we use the triplets. So what I tried to do there is create moments where I'm really leaning into the single note triplets and punching out that rhythm, and other times where I'm really trying to create cascades of triplets to bring more lyricism to the feel, to the vibe, to the flow of the tune. Now, one last thought on this. I finished with a out of place C sharp. Now, this is just a personal flavor that I really like. The tune is very much leaning toward that A minor sound with the C natural. Every now and again you can slide in a little C sharp, fret 4, for a bit of flavor. What would you call it? An accidental. on purpose. Now, I might have overdone it that time for effect, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. It's just these little cheeky notes that pop in. Why don't I like that phrase? I don't know. Cheeky little notes that don't belong in the tune that we just slide in there for fun. Fun, fun, fun.